How's it going, guys? Luis here. Hope you guys are having a great day. The PlayStation 4 Slim rumor mill is going pretty freaking crazy right now, and the system is expected to launch in just a few days to weeks now, and so I wanted to share my must-have PS4 games, either if you just bought a PS4 original or you plan on picking up the PS4 Slim. So here are the must-have PS4 games if you bought either one of those consoles, focused mostly on exclusives or timed exclusives. If you want a fun arcade side-scrolling shooter, Resogun is your best option. It's one of the earliest games that came to the PS4, and it's an example of one of the best looking games on the PS4. You control a tiny spaceship on a rotating cylinder as you save humans scattered across the level and fighting off aliens. You can even create your own ships too and upload them to share with your friends or other random people online. There's also a built-in online mode so you can play with friends online, something that's especially fun when you're tackling a very large boss. If you're just craving a retro twin-stick shooter, then you gotta check out Resogun. It currently goes for about $15 on the PlayStation Network store. For all you puzzle fans out there, you need to witness The Witness. And yeah, I know how bad that joke was, that's why I'm single, among other reasons. The Witness is a puzzle game that has you solve terminals on an isolated island. Rather than using verbal cues, the game uses the environment to hint at what you're supposed to do. As you progress through the game, you'll begin to travel to different environments on the island as you realize that all the puzzles lead up to one overarching goal. It's a game that really challenges your mind as you progress through it, and it's a little steep at $40, but it's definitely worth it, especially if you're into puzzle games. I highly recommend it, especially if you're one of those gamers that likes those puzzle games like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, where it's sort of vague in how you get introduced to it, but ultimately leads to a very satisfying ending. If you were a fan of games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, games that felt like cinematic movie experiences, you may want to take a look at Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a story-driven narrative like those games I just mentioned in the form of a survival horror game. It essentially is an interactive serial killer movie. A group of friends go to a cabin by the lake for a getaway when suddenly two friends are mysteriously killed by some creature. The game follows the events afterward that have the remaining friends trying to figure out what just happened. It's definitely a fun game to marathon if you're streaming or just play with friends or on the couch. Until Dawn goes for about $22 on Amazon right now, and there's a VR version or a spin-off game coming out for PlayStation VR in October. For any fighting gamers out there, there's no shortage of fighting games on the PS4, but here are two really great ones. Street Fighter V is an exclusive on the PS4 this generation, and even though it had a pretty rocky launch, the game is pretty much complete now and goes for only $25 on Amazon. The game improves upon a lot of the core mechanics of the Street Fighter series. The only real issues with the game were the lacking game modes like a CPU versus mode or pretty much any other basic fighting game modes. But like I said before, all those missing game modes are now added through the patches and the updates that came out, and for $25 the game is actually a pretty good deal. If you want another fun fighting game that just came out, you should check out King of Fighters 14. SNK basically went back and fixed a lot of the issues that plagued King of Fighters 13, like the broken online mode. This new KOF tries to modernize the series by making the gameplay with 3D models rather than the traditional 2D sprites used in the previous entries in the series. The new entry offers a solid online mode with all the traditional fighting game modes you could ever want. For a more in-depth review and look at that game, you can go check out my review up here. I just put it up about a week ago, and it's a pretty great game. I highly recommend you go check it out. If you want a fun third-person action adventure game, look into Infamous Second Son. This is the third entry in the series, but the first time the series has ever been on the PlayStation 4. You play as Delson, a conduit with the power to copy the powers of other conduits. Throughout the game you'll meet new conduits in Seattle and gain new powers as you fight off the police force trying to wipe out the conduits. It's also one of the more impressive looking games on the system because of all the particle effects this game has going on. Overall, the game is a lot of fun and it can be best described as a superhero open world adventure game. It currently goes for about $15 to $20, so go pick it up if you can find a good deal on it. If you feel like getting your butt kicked, 1, that's pretty freaking weird. 2, I got the game just for you. It's called Bloodborne. Bloodborne is an action role-playing game that's challenging as hell. I say challenging and not difficult because it is a challenge in a way where the gameplay is difficult, but it's always fair. When you die in Bloodborne, you know it's because you messed up, and now you've learned a new game mechanic instead of just being killed by a cheap unfair boss. This game comes from the creators of the Dark Souls series and has you play as a hunter. This hunter is traveling to a town seeking medical help for an unknown illness. When he arrives at the town, he discovers that the citizens have suffered from an illness that turns them into ravaged creatures. Make sure you don't skip out on this exclusive. It's solely on PS4, it never came to PC, it never came timely to Xbox One. Solely on PS4 and it goes for about $20 right now. It is a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. Another fun action role-playing game is Gravity Rush. This is a game that started off as a PlayStation Vita exclusive, but since it didn't sell too well, Sony made an HD remaster of it for the PS4. And that's a great thing too, because Gravity Rush is one of the best games on the Vita, so now more people will get the chance to play it. You play as this girl named Kat, who wakes up one day without memories of her past and the power to control gravity. Using her new gravity power, she fights off the Nevite creatures invading her new home, becoming a badass superhero in the process. This game currently goes for about $30, and the sequel is coming out in December called Gravity Rush 2 that's solely for PS4. It's not coming to Vita, it is now an original PS4 title, so you can look forward to that one too. For all you action-adventure fans, pick up The Last of Us. Now this is technically a PS3 game, but it got remastered on the PS4 at 1080p 60 frames per second, and it's amazing. You play as Joel, a survivor of the Cordyceps apocalypse. Essentially, this is a bacteria taking over the brains of humans and making them into zombie-like creatures, and Earth as we know it has been in ruin ever since. The whole game has you escorting a little girl named Ellie to a science lab who may have a possible answer to a cure. It's by far my favorite PlayStation 3 game, and it's a way better PS4 game. Plus, it has a really decent online multiplayer mode that I didn't expect to like so much. It currently goes for about 15 to 20 bucks online depending on where you get it, and it's definitely worth picking up. Another great series of titles from the same developer is the Uncharted series, more specifically Uncharted 4. The Uncharted series is a much more lighthearted series than The Last of Us was, and it plays more like an action film with some of the best cinematic set pieces I've ever seen in a video game. Uncharted 4 in particular is the final chapter in the Nathan Drake story. In this entry in the series, our hero is much older, more mature. He wants to give up his days of treasure hunting for a normal life with his wife Elena. Suddenly, Nathan's long-lost, presumed to be dead brother shows up out of nowhere and drags Nathan back into treasure hunting. It has a really great ending to an even greater series. Uncharted 4 goes for about 53 bucks right now, and the rest of the trilogy goes for about $36 on PS4. If you never got into the Uncharted series, I highly recommend you do so because it's some of the best work on the PlayStation system. Best of all, you can pretty much pick up Uncharted 1 through 3 Remastered and Uncharted 4 all on PS4 for about $85, which is a pretty good deal. Thank you all very much for watching my video. If you made it to the very end, let me know by hitting that like button, and in the comments below let me know what is your current favorite PS4 game if you have one already, or if you plan on picking one up. What's the game that convinced you to pick one up? Let me know in the comment section below. If you want to ask me questions off of YouTube, you can go find me on Twitter. I'm pretty active on there, pretty responsive, so if you send me a tweet, I'll probably respond within the hour. And then if you just want to talk to me or other people that watch my videos, you can join my Discord. If you want to watch some more videos of mine, I just put up a review of the Tesoro Gram Spectrum, a pretty badass gaming PC keyboard. If you want to go check that out, the video is over here. I also did a video just like this for the Xbox One S, so must-have Xbox One S games. You could also check out that video right here. Thank you all very much for watching, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.